Welcome back to Biel Chess Festival. And while we were on the break, we have a result. David Navara, who is here with me, has just managed to score a victory against Dardha. Congratulations, David.
Thank you very much, Angelica.
How was the game? It started with a calm Italian, but maybe we could go through some key moments of the game and you can show us.
I think it was not such a calm Italian because Daniel got initiative in the opening and I didn't like my position. So I don't know how can I move from
You
here.
can just click on the...
Can I just click?
Yes.
So I was a bit surprised by this b4 move and we achieved sort of a standard position which might be slightly more pleasant for white. I did not want to take on e4 because it looked to me rather risky. I mean, it looked like Daniel was in his preparation and I did not want to check it, did not want to go to some sharp lines where something could easily go wrong.
You don't want to play against the stockfish.
Yes, yes. So I played solidly. I had played a similar position against Nodirbek Abdusatorov in Prague about 1 year ago. And I lost the game, but the configuration on the queen side was a bit different.
So when you got this position with isolated pawn, was it something that you wanted to go for, or you were trying to avoid it?
I mean, when I played this knight e7, knight g6 maneuver, which is quite typical, I thought that it could appear. Actually, it was funny that a very similar line was played on one of the top boards of the open tournament, but a bit differently. So bishop e6. I was not sure about c6 because white can play b5 sometimes, and my pawns can become vulnerable. And if I exchange, then if I exchange, then my bishop would be pinned, and I don't know. Probably it's not much of a problem, but no, sorry, I dislike knight e4 here. I recalled it already, and I'm not 100% sure. But after bishop e6, there could be knight g5 or even knight c5, and if I play b5, I think there was some problem. But the pin didn't look so nice, and white gets the c5 square for his knight. Sorry, I'm a bit too nervous now. I mean, not only now, I mean, at least the past 2 months. So, okay, knight e4. I also had this idea, h6, because if white takes with such a nice idea, there is an important intermediate move instead. Black can play b5 and is probably doing fine, although it's tricky, but I'm threatening b takes c4 and somehow it looks fine.
So it's not working out.
Yes, probably it's not, but white could play knight c5 instead and get the d5 square for his knight and the diagonal for his bishop, long diagonal. So I played knight f4, which is a typical idea in such positions. I'm not sure how well it works here. It looked sort of logical, everything, and I underestimated or rather missed queen c4, which is strong because now the knight is vulnerable, and if I played, for example, h6, I could have problems after d6. White takes, I go here, and now white needs to be careful and needs to, needs to start with this, and after bishop b8 there is queen g4 check and rook d1, and after queen e2 there is not rook d2, so maybe there is just some check. Maybe it's not actually.
It's not so clear, yeah, because
yes, I missed that there after queen d2 or rook d2 there was bishop takes f2 check with mate. So maybe knight d2, but it's no longer that convincing. I don't know. Maybe it's not that bad for black actually. So maybe I should have played something like this. I played knight g6. I mean, it's a pity that the knight, the active knight, goes back, but the knight was also a bit exposed.
But knight was protecting the king so well the whole game.
Because the knight had to. I mean,
there were no
other pieces. So knight c5.
And we are here. We arrive at this moment. Maybe here Daniel shouldn't start with this knight c5 move because he allowed you immediately to go for this rook e1 very nice sequence.
Maybe, but I'm not sure. I didn't like my position with the bishop on a7 and so on. I preferred white's position here. Perhaps you are right, but I was not so relieved even here, and queen e4 looked strong to me. I also considered playing something else, but there are various tactical problems. For example, after queen d6 there could be rook a1. which
Oh.
looked very unpleasant because if I go here, for example, there could be d6 and the spin is really annoying.
Oh,
I
sad.
don't know how bad it is, but probably very
Probably
bad.
bad, yes.
So that was one thing, and after some move like bishop b6, there was a nice trap, knight d4, knight e7, because there are some back rank issues, but I didn't like h4 that much. I mean, I have queen d6 now, but it didn't appeal to me. So I played queen f8, thinking that h4 should not work here. Daniel played h4, then I realized that maybe it's a bit of a problem. Anyway, rook c1 could be a move also, or something else. So I took because I could not have done anything else.
Yeah. So he
So
sacrificed the
yes,
pawn in
I
this
took.
position?
Yes, after the game he told me that he originally wanted to go here, which works greatly. Actually, I underestimated it. After rook d8, there is a very nice sequence.
Oh.
When I went for queen f8, I thought that at least I would get some exchange down endgame, maybe keeping one of my pawns somehow, but the problem is that there is not even knight e1, queen takes e1, but white has just this. And g3, and now this
Oh,
one.
and the checkmate is
Yes.
coming.
Yes, exactly.
Incredible.
So, sorry, h5. But the problem was that black has rook a2. And now black seems to hold because everything is sort of protected. It is not very solid, but f2 is hanging, which is very important. And black is doing well.
Gets a messy
Surprisingly.
position, but probably you would have had enough time to find
Yes,
that.
I had
But
enough time, luckily.
But what there here, the knight d4 idea, not to close the e file, to this idea of bringing.
Definitely, I haven't really considered it, but the point is that if you want to play positionally, you need not give a pawn. And I
Yes,
mean,
of
if
course.
you play something like rook c1, you are probably better here. But after h4, h5 is the most logical continuation because, and also h6. So I was a bit afraid. I even considered playing knight g6, but then I realized that white's knight goes on f5 very quickly, and maybe taking the pawn would be more logical. So I hope to survive somehow. Knight e5. And now I recalled my course on calculation for chess base. I mean, in rapid I played terribly, missing everything everywhere. I was not so much concentrated, not in the best shape. So I was getting always to some positions with less than 1 minute and blundering a lot. But here I had enough time, so I determined candidate moves like knight g6, rook d8, rook e8, rook a4, rook a2, and started calculating them sort of one after another, not quite because I'm not completely systematic, but
Using your own course.
yeah, also, and not only. I mean, after rook d8, the problem is knight c6 because there is a fork on e7, and then it makes no sense. After rook a2, there are problems with that my king is quite exposed, and there will be rook e3 in some lines, perhaps immediately, or also white can start with some queen f somewhere move, maybe queen f4 or even 5, and rook e3 ideas. Rook a4 didn't look that great either because here white goes, I think,
Queen
on
f5.
f5, and again there are those ideas. The rook defends, protects its own king, and is ready to attack at the same time, so it's unpleasant. But rook e8 looked very logical because I'm exploiting the pin. I am hoping to exchange some pieces. I'm not losing any material anytime soon. After queen f3, I so that maybe even f6 could be a move, but this looks fine. I'm not losing anything.
And Daniel's also
Oh,
was
yes,
going
sorry.
down and down in
Yes, yes.
times.
So maybe, sorry, queen
Yeah,
e7.
sure.
I'm not sure. No, there is rook e3 or something. I mean, rook e7. I'm wondering. Yes, I'm wondering what I saw and what not. I mean, now, but okay. Yes, he was going down on time, and now I pinned his knight, and I mean, white is a bit unlucky in this position. That the tactics work well for black, and I mean, with little time left, this c6 is very unpleasant. And for example, here, if white could take, it would have been great. But there is sorry, there is no. It was one move later, probably. No, here, if white could take, it would have been great because this loses to knight e5, or maybe doesn't lose, but loses a
Loses
piece.
a piece, yes,
Yes, rook
definitely.
e1, king h2, but
And then you decided to sacrifice a piece.
no, I would have just given check
Yeah,
here.
of course, yes.
And I'm winning the queen
Mhm,
for free, and it's
mhm.
over now. So
Yeah, but I mean in the game, you
yes, in the
sacrificed a
yes,
piece.
queen f5, and I was quite nervous because I mean I was not exactly in the best shape. I mean it did not the game did not reflect it. I played it well, I think, with some inaccuracies, but I always make them in
Mhm.
complicated positions. So f4, I understood that this b4, b3 would allow queen b1, but I just hoped to give one pawn back and to have two extra pawns after exchanging something like queens, for example. So b4, king h2, b3. Then I realized that maybe it was not such a great idea, that I miscalculated in some lines. For example, I originally wanted to go here, but there were some lines which I didn't quite like. For example, this could be unpleasant
And
sometimes.
suddenly
Maybe
the
there's queen
Mhm.
e7, but somehow there were lines which I didn't feel exactly sure about, like
What is going on, yeah?
yes, computer says it's all winning, but I didn't. No, not here on g1.
Mhm.
I didn't exactly see how, and I was getting nervous. Maybe rook e2 is there. I don't know. It should be winning somehow, but I didn't know. And also after rook b8, there's queen b2 and some very nasty ideas like knight g4. If I play queen e4, there could sometimes be knight d7. So uh, that's it. And
And then you
eventually,
decided to
yes.
sacrifice a piece,
Yes, but
right?
not
Here,
yet.
not
I
yet.
decided to play a move which looked logical after I realized that here I would be just winning due to h5, because after queen f3 the point is that I just go back and
Mhm.
there is h4 coming, or some mate if white avoids the pin.
Of course, yeah. You have too many pawns and
Yeah, also
very
attack.
powerful pin, yeah.
Yes. So then I realized that I could actually play queen f5 and I have to go back and repeat moves once. But I mean, repeating once
Mhm.
is not a tragedy. Then I could search for something else.
Of
I
course,
still had time.
especially when he had
Yes.
was low on the clock.
And Daniel played knight d3, and then I found this sacrifice because I realized that the queen was quite pathetic here.
Mhm.
I lost a game in a similar fashion against too many pawns at the European Team Championship 2015
With
in the
reversed.
first round. And I mean, yes, with white against, I think, Grandmaster Suneberg Hansen.
Mm.
And I mean, in some respects, it looks similar to me. I mean, the same material and too many pawns again. And also, I played a game against Daniel Dardha. I lost last year at the European Individual Championship in the penultimate round, and it was just a major piece end game, but my king was very weak. So here it was his king, which was very
Mhm.
weak. And I remember that playing such a position in the time table was super unpleasant. So
Okay, so here you decide to sacrifice a
yes,
piece.
yes, and b2,
Was a
basically,
very strong move,
yes, the
yeah.
queen is just very passive,
Yes.
and I just need to take care of those pawns, to mm, prepare myself for some sacrifices,
Mhm.
and then it should be all right. I mean, after knight f4, I can play probably any normal move. I can even play c4 actually, but some calculation might be needed. But basically, I'm queening, and after rook f7, I can probably go here, threatening queen h4 check. But
And everything is covered, no checks.
I hope so. I mean, before going for this, I would have calculated the lines again, just to
Of course.
make sure that I'm not missing
But
anything.
your pawns were too powerful
Yes,
to handle.
yes. So also here, if white plays rook f2, I can take and play with two extra pawns, but there are also other options. I can start with a check, for example. I can also play rook b3 at some point, like this, for example, rook b3, and the
Mhm.
knight is also hanging, and
The
g3 is hanging.
G3, yeah.
So
And the
it's
queen has to
yes,
defend the
it's
pawn.
basically just winning.
Not the
So
best piece to blockade the
yes,
pawn.
yes, exactly. And c3. And now I gave this check because if I started with this, white could at least go rook. I mean, either king g1, after which I just play something solid, maybe rook b7 to protect the pawn first. Sorry, or I could also go for this, but winning such an endgame would still take time. I mean, after the queen exchange, it's simple, but the queens are still there. The white's king is sort of protected. White's pieces are
Of
sort of
course, not so
active, and
easy.
it should be easy, but it would take some time. And I mean, I could miss something. There is always some danger. So queen d6 first. And now after g3, white is just very weak, and the king is weak, and I can play queen d3 or queen d2 or whatever. So king g1. After king h1, I would have gone for rook b5 probably, and after king g1, I went for it anyway. So now the king is very weak, and basically after queen a2, there's check. Another one.
And there is should be a
Yes.
checkmate.
Yes, or
Okay.
not necessarily, but I can also just exchange rooks and promote my pawn. So I surprisingly won today.
Yeah, absolutely amazing performance, especially considering the start. What have you done during the rest day so that helped you to get so much energy and come here and play such a beautiful game and win?
I had a consultation with a psychologist. I would like to thank. I don't know exactly the psychologist's name, but he is husband of Mrs. Kraska Horvat, who is
Tatiana.
working here uh, uh, in the organization committee. I think her husband is called Thomas, and I don't know what is his surname, which of the two, but. Uh, so it helped me. I also went for a walk to the hill, Maglingen, Makolang, and like this. And I was feeling much better after that. But basically today I again became somehow depressive, so depressed. So
During the game.
even before the game, not long before the game, but I mean, I'm not in the best state now. I mean,
But hopefully your great performance in this game and great moves you produced helped to have your mood up
yes,
and help.
definitely it helps me. I hope it will be better again.
Thank you so much, David, for this beautiful analysis and for so much nice insights from the game because we don't see it when we watch your game. And we wish you best of luck. Tomorrow is the second round. Who are you playing against?
I'm playing against Nicolas Teodoru.
Yeah, best of luck. He has just won today, so it's going to be a
Hmm?
battle of two winners.
Okay, but I'm still like I don't know sixth or fifth in the overall standings, so I will try to play a good game.
But
We will see.
classical
Yes,
matters a lot. Thank you so
yes,
much, David.
you are
And
welcome.
meanwhile, we are going back to the studio to follow more games which are happening right now at Grandmaster Triathlon.